Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be doing a brief stock analysis on Canopy growth, and this is no means going to be a in-depth financial analysis of the company, but more so me giving my general outlook for the overall industry. So here is CGC year to date. As we can see, it was at about $26 at its previous high in January, and then it went all the way down to $9 when the market was at its lowest, and the stock has already almost doubled since then though, steadily increasing over the last 6 months. Or sorry, not over the last 6 months, but here we can see it increasing steadily on the 6-month chart. So the bulk of this video is actually going to be me talking about some big points by the bulls and the bears by analysts from Morningstar. And I would actually say Canopy Growth has some really strong points going for it, but also some really negative points about the overall industry. So the first point here is probably their strongest, along with the third one that I'm going to talk about here in just a minute, but it's the investment by Constellation Brands, which for those of you who don't know, it's a Fortune 500 company, and they're a huge maker of beer, wine, and a lot of different liquors. So an investment by them and in a partnership in any kind of capacity is really, really great for a much smaller company such as Canopy Growth. And they also have some really great partnerships with celebrities like Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg, which other competitors just do not have. And then if Constellation Brands was to try and increase their ownership, they may try and acquire Canopy, which in my opinion would be best case scenario for this company just because there are so many risks. And it's actually this second point which I think is absolutely key to the success of this company blowing up and the stock price increasing tenfold. And that is Canopy being able to sell to the entire US market with it becoming legalized in the United States. And you could pretty much say that for any of the big marijuana stocks right now, but I think Canopy is in a really, really great position to capitalize on the US market. And that is partially because of their deal to acquire Acreage Holdings, among a lot of other things, as well as just the sheer size of the company and how willing they are to expand. And that kind of leads into the next point, which is that Canopy Growth is expanding into cultivation into countries like Colombia and Lesotho to help meet global medical demand with lower cost production. Canada doesn't have the best climate for growth of marijuana, and this would be much, much better, as well as their other products to produce in these warmer environment countries, but that also kind of leads into a negative point. And now I'm going to talk about a few negative points for Canopy Growth, but I just wanted to talk about that second one because I was just talking about how they were trying to move into some warmer climates, but many countries such as Lesotho, South Africa, and Turkey plan to become major cannabis exporters, taking advantage of their fertile climates and low labor costs, which would give them a significant advantage over Canopy. So I would actually say this is the biggest negative point for Canopy Growth, just because there are a Canadian company producing almost everything in Canada right now, and they're just not going to be able to compete on an international scale with a huge marijuana company in some of these other countries. And this first one is the black market limits potential price to increase Canopy Growth can push through to its consumers. And I agree with that on a small scale, but I think the vast majority of people would far rather go to Canopy Growth to buy it than somebody on the black market, which is illegal, and they're going to be able to pay a premium for that. And I think most people would agree. And then just as last point, I'm going to go ahead and read, states and countries have incentives to maximize tax revenue for products such as alcohol, tobacco, and cannabis. And although alcohol and tobacco companies can pass higher taxes onto consumers, cannabis companies lack the brand power to do so. And I would actually say cannabis companies' brands are becoming even more and more powerful, whereas tobacco brands are shrinking. So I think this is becoming less and less true every day. And lastly, I just wanted to take a look at their research report overview. For 4 out of 5 stars for a marijuana company is actually pretty good. And they have no economic moat, which is fair, I suppose. Fair economic value right now is $30, and the price I think we saw was at a little bit less than 17, so that's really strong growth from the analysts there. Uncertainty is very high, which I would say is also fair, just because we need legalization here in the United States. And then lastly, stewardship standard is also fair. And to be honest, I do not know a lot about their top management team, but I do know they're looking to expand, which is a really good thing. And I also just wanted to take a look at Aurora Cannabis, which I thought was interesting that they also were given a fair value of $30, but the stock price is currently at $10, so there's a lot more growth opportunity there, just based off of their fair price value. But Their uncertainty is extreme with this company, I think just because they're not quite as established. But I just wanted to go ahead and show that because I thought it was interesting. I've done a ton of other brew stock analysis videos very similar to this one, so be sure to go and check those out if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more content, and thank you so much for watching.